Hello, everyone. We're going to get started in just a minute, but just wanted to start with some housekeeping items. You will see a Q&A icon in the chat below or in the bottom. And if you have any questions, please drop them right in there. And during the presentation, we will get to as many of those as possible. However, we may also have to do some follow-up with you after the webinar. So please answer or add any questions that you would like. And also note that this session is being recorded, and we will all be sending you this recording after the webinar as well. So just hang tight and we'll get started in just a moment. All right, let's get started. So welcome to the first Tech Talk series of 2024, and super excited to have you here. I'm Karina Schultz, and I'm the Director of Product Management here at Foundation Source, and I love having these sessions and telling you what it is we're doing and working on and sharing with you the things that we have been doing, especially those items that we're doing because of your feedback. We have Steve Aponte, who will be joining us a little bit later in the session as our special guest from the product team. So stay tuned for that. Now let's talk about what we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk a little bit about what's new, some of the enhancements that we've recently made. We're going to do a little bit of back to basics training or reminders, if you will. We're going to take a little bit of a step into the impact planning. It's the beginning of the year, and it's a great time to just think about what you want to focus on this year and how you can track it. A reminder of tax prep, what to look out for, and a timeline of events, and behind the scenes with our very own Steve Aponte. All right, let's start off with what's new. Now, I'm going to show you on a slide, but then as always, we're going to take a dive into our software impactfully. So 2 recent enhancements that we have released is a way to personalize your to-dos. Now, we focused a lot on these to-dos over the past year, and we want to make them as functional as possible. And with your feedback, we took that and we made them customizable so that you can focus on the most meaningful things to you and your role in the foundation. And what do we mean by that? Well, suppressing the subtabs so that you do not see the items that are tallying up that you do not need to necessarily see based on your role, as well as customizing the order that you see them so that whatever is first will be your choice. And you can push things to the end of the list there if they're a little bit less important to your role on the foundation. Super easy to update, and we are going to take a closer look at that in just a moment. Now, for the charity search, now a lot of you have many favorite charities. So what we did was we put a search in there. So you just start typing in a couple of letters, and then you will see the charities the list will start to narrow down, and you can quickly find the charity that you're looking for. Now, before we go into Impactfully, I want to talk about what's next, right? You always want to know what's coming, right? So we did a lot of work on being able to create application processes in Impactfully. So we gave you some templates to start. You can create your welcome page and your EQ. And the one part that's been missing is the supporting forms. And what they are basically your ask for information requests. And we're going to have that for you in Q2. Super excited. And we're actually have a much more user-friendly way of managing that process. So you'll be able to create your welcome page, manage all your settings. Your EQ is going to be enhanced so that not only can you go to multiple questions branches, but also you can select multiple applications. And you can even customize for each question your qualified and disqualified message. And beyond that, a little bit further down the road, probably in the release after that, we're going to have the ability to customize your own ask for information templates. So a lot is coming. We're super excited. Stay tuned. And another big exciting item we have is digital payments. So you'll be able to select between check, ACH, wire, but hopefully more attractive will be the digital payment. So those of you who are a part of our think tank will be able to get involved with helping us bring this new feature to life. All right, now, having said all that, let's dive into Impactfully, and I can show you these things, and then we can go back to the basics, and then we can go into impact planning. So hang tight for just one moment, and I am going to go into Impactfully. So I hope everybody is having a fabulous day. Appreciate you taking the time to join us on this Tech Talk. I got bounced out, so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm logging back in. All right. I'm going to share my screen again. All right. Hopefully you can see my screen. I think you can't, so let's try it again. Let's see. Should be able to see my screen now. All right, perfect. Okay, so we talked about customizing your to-dos. So right here, I'm on the foundation to-dos. Now your foundation to-dos and your my to-dos can have different settings for your customization. So just to let you know about that. And the difference between foundation to-dos and my to-dos are if, for example, if you had a grant and the grant was voted on already by me, but there are outstanding votes for 2 other members of the committee, they would show up in the foundation to-dos, and they would no longer show up on my to-do list because I had already voted on them, as an example. So let's take a look at the foundation to-dos. I did not do any customization here yet. It's at the default. And I'm going to go to this eye on the top of the top right of the tile. And you can see that there's grants. And then you see underneath for each of these, you'll see all of the sub tasks or sub tabs. Okay. So in this case, I am going to remove these sub tabs for outcomes because for my role on this foundation, I don't work with that. So I don't want that noise. And also, I really am not working with certificates either. So I'm going to move that whole area, down to the bottom of my list here. What I do focus on, though, are applications, and I like to know what's going on with the grants. So I'm going to keep all of those. And then for payments, I'm also going to drop that down, and I'm going to just remove the payments that need to be released. Now I'm going to save it, and you're going to see my view has completely changed. You can see that the payments, outcomes, and certificates are now at the end, and the tally number is 0. So you see that I'm all caught up. So this way, when I log in, I'm going to see the first thing that's important to me for the foundation perspective, and I won't have that other noise necessarily. Now, you may want to have all of that for the foundation to do so that you can see it and hone in more on my to-dos, which you can easily do. And like I said, it's completely separate and different from the foundation to-dos. So as the my to-dos come up, and it does take a little bit longer for my to-dos, you'll notice that, and that's because it's checking every single item for permission. So it's not lagging because of, a bug. It's not, it really has to do with how many outstanding items you have, and it is really diving into each of your permissioning for each item that's outstanding. The foundation to-dos will definitely render much more quickly. So now, if you look at this view, which I did customize, you can see that tasks are my number one thing, because I'm giving out lots of tasks, and I'm, completing a lot of tasks, and, it's the new month and I cleared everything out. So I just have a couple of things here. Now with tasks, just a reminder, you can do them for yourself, or you can assign them to other people like I did here for Luke Walker. Now, you can see that for applications, all of the items here and grants, and I only see this tab because I am on a committee for voting, and then the outcomes. So just like we did before, I can quickly go in here and I can go to outcomes, and I can remove those. And then I can also, let's say I want to move expenses and grants, or expenses and payments, and then I can quickly save that. And again, very quickly saved. It does take a minute to move things around, but this is now my view. It will consistently persist here, and it's as simple as that. All right. Now, just to move along to the favorite charities, and I'm going to go here where my favorite charities are. I'm going to search. Now, I don't have a very long list. I'm a dog lover, so I just have these 3. But just to show you how it works, I am going to type in, and I was going to do, and as you saw, it just quickly rendered the list, got smaller and smaller as I did this. Now imagine if you had 150 favorite charities, because you're really just watching a certain one and you're really honing in on them, and that's how your foundation works. It's a really fabulous feature, and thank you for bringing it to our attention, and we really do listen to you, and I hope that this is working well for you now. Okay, we're going to skip gears here, shift gears, and we're going to go into some of the basics. So let's go to grants. And actually, why don't we go to favorite charities to make a grant and make it for Dogs Finding Dogs, my favorite charity to give to. And just a reminder, we have 3 types of grants that you can make. We have single payment, which is just a one-time grant that happens once. And then we have a single payment that you can make on a reoccurring basis. So that would be your reoccurring grant. So single payment, $100 grant, one time. Reoccurring grant, $100 payment every month to a nonprofit. So it's still a single payment, but you're just saying, I'm going to do it X amount of times at X amount of cadence. A multi-payment grant, though, is, think of it as a pie. It's $100, right? but that $100 is a full pie. And let's say you want to do a multi-payment on that, you're breaking that $100 out into, let's say, 10 payments of $10 each. And then that consistency might be quarterly or monthly, for example. So it's different. And we often call those commitments because you're committing to give a certain amount of money for a certain amount of period of time. Okay. Just in case there's some confusion about what a multi-payment grant was. Now let's quickly make a single payment grant. So just going to put in here $2,000. We're not going to have the control here. And then you can see I already selected my program. So my program is already there. And special giving, in case you didn't know, this is if you want to do it in memory of, on behalf of, in honor of, you can add that. I'm not going to do that in this case. Report code, you can add a report code. Again, this is at the grant level. All right, so we can do that. Or mileage, which doesn't make any sense. These are the same codes. The report codes are the same list of codes, whether it's for a grant or for an expense, just to let you know. And again, this is a sample account or a demo account, so bear with me. And then you can choose an impact plan. So since it's a single payment and everything is on this one page, you can see the impact plan here. But impact plans are actually at the payment level. Now, it doesn't really matter so much when you're doing a single payment, but for a multi-commitment grant, the payment level, you could, in theory, have different impact plans for different payments. So we are going to have this for animal welfare. You can choose for special handling, whether you want to have that payment on hold or anonymous. You have your different ways of payment. We'll soon have digital payments here in 2024. And again, digital payments may be a better option for you as opposed to wire or ACH. But we're going to keep check whether you want to send it to the grantee or the grantor to potentially present to the grantee. Select your grant letter. And then you do have the option to also email the grantee. Now I am just going to go over here and I'm going to just review everything. If I wanted to take a look at the letter, I can certainly do that. And then I am going to submit this. Now, as that's submitting, our team members in the back, your private client advisors, are reviewing all of these for you. They do an initial client compliance review before it goes to our operations team, and then they process it for payment. Now, typically a grant or expense is processed in 2 business days. Now, should there not be enough funds in your operating account, you will be notified to replenish that account. But, the grant compliance review is done. Everything is going to stay there until the funds reach your operating account, and then the payment will be made, whether it's an expense or a grant. Very similar, and also needs to make sure that that charity nonprofit is still verified. And of course, we can do charity research cases on them, as you know. Does anybody have any questions? All right, now let's go and make an expense. Again, we try and make these streamlined and very, very simple for you to do. So up here in the upper right-hand corner, and let me just say that for both these grants and expenses, if you have a committee, before they go for processing, you would need that to get approved by your internal committee in your foundation. And of course, there's multiple ways to set them up, whether it's, first vote, majority, whether the submitter is not included in that, lots of ways. And if you have more questions on that, we can certainly dive in a future tech talk, or you can reach out to your private client advisor. So now we're in create an expense. All right. And we have an option to do to me, a vendor, or a foundation member. I'm going to pay to a vendor. So I have a drop-down list and I can select from a vendor, and I'm going to do the ABC company, fabulous company. We've been working with them for years. And then let's go to an expense item. All right. And let's go with $7,000, and we'll put in for cell phone. Let's do computers. All right, and then this is the important thing that counts or doesn't count towards your qualified distribution, and that's the investment related expense. So in this case, I'm going to say no. And then again, the same list of report codes and a description. I'm just keeping this simple for the demonstration purposes. And I'm going to add this expense. Now you can add a file here, and if I don't add a file, it's going to kick it out. So I'm going to just add a file here, and then everything looks good to me. I'm going to start a compliance review. Okay, now this status needs to be updated, but again, this is just for demonstration purposes. So everything looks good for me. I'm going to click next. Now I'm doing a final review here. No special instructions. I'm going to click and I'm basically saying that, it's ordinary, necessary, and reasonable. And now I'm going to submit the expense. Again, very similar to the grant process. It's going to be reviewed by your private client advisor, and then it's going to go to the operations team. And if you do have a committee that needs to vote on this, then the committee will be responsible for processing that first and making sure it gets approved before it goes to your private client advisor. All right, awesome. So let's go ahead and take a look at impact plans. So first, let's go to the dashboard, and you are going to see right here from the dashboard, impact planning. And this is a great feature. You can track the causes that you care most about, your foundation, based on your mission, based on your goals for 2024, however you choose, and set them up and track them. And you can even go backwards in time as long as there's a plan that exists. Or you can also do, if you have multi-commitment grants or multi-payment grants, you can also go out into the future. So I am going to go to impact planning from here. You can also go from administration as well. And you can see here all my 2024 impact plans. And this is a combined view. So this is like all of the total of all of the goals for all the impact plans for 2024. And I can also go to a plan view, and this is going to show me the goals for each of the plans and where I'm at today. And the color coding shows what is actually completed or pending or planned. Now let's dive into a single plan, and we will go with sea turtles. And I already have grants that are still pending, but grants already for $51,000 and $50 already this year. I'm going to add the pending and planned as well, and you can see that there are others, and I can actually go in and I can see who did I grant to and get more information from there. Now, let's say I want to add 2025 to this particular one. I just have to go to actions and add a year. And I'm going to add 2025 and the amount. And I'm going to go up the next year. And then I'm going to create it. And really that's it. So now if I have a multi-commitment grant and I want to go forward in time, I have the impact plan ready. And if I wanted to go back to 2023, I can do that as well. And you say, why do I want to do this and go back? Well, the good news is you can edit and add an impact plan after the fact. So let's go to our payments. Here are all grants, all payments. And I am going to go back to the previous fiscal year. And I'm going to look at this one right here. And you can see that the impact plan, remember I said it was on the payment level, right? So here we see that this had education, and then I am actually going to update this, and you can see what the goals are and where you're at. And it'll tell you if you've met your goal and if you went over it. And we're going to add sea turtles. And it's as simple as that. Now, we do have the feature of grant editing. And when we're talking back to basics, since I just showed you that, I think we should dive into the grant editing feature because there's been a lot of questions on that. So let's go back to the current year and look at all of the grants. Now, to be very clear about who can edit what, first of all, if you're a grantor, you can edit your grants, and I'll show you what can be edited and when. If you have the entitlement in your permissions to edit all grants, then you can make edits as well. Those are the two scenarios, and of course your PCA can help you with editing as well, or private client advisor, sorry. Anyway, so I'm in here and I created this grant, and let's take a look. Now, if a grant is already processing, then you're not going to be able to make edits to it. So if I were to have made this grant to be in April 1st, I can make a lot more edits. Right now, I can edit the report code if I wanted to. Simple as that. And since this is a multi-commitment grant, I can go to a future payment. Let's go here. And you can see that I can edit the payment date, the payment amount, how it's paid, what the payment method is, and the impact plan, which can always be edited. Now, when you do the payment date, the payment amount, or the grantor, that is going to trigger a notification to both your PCA and the grantor, depending on who makes the change. And if a grant modification letter is required, your PCA will direct you on that. If you are making those changes, though, it's strongly recommended that you notify the grantee. Now, we know that you, generous people, often want to pay earlier and more. So we just wanted to make sure that you had the flexibility to do that. So if I wanted to do this payment here, I would just simply go here and I could say I would want to pay them in July instead. And I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to say, you know what? I would like this payment to be $10,000. I could do that as well. And you might ask what happens to the payment letter. The payment letter, it gets updated as well. So you see the new amount and you see the new date. And then that is it. So hopefully that also may have taught you a little something as well. Now with that, I am going to go over, I see a question. can totals be added to the bottom of impact plans? We can certainly look at that. Let me just take a quick look and see. I just went through the administrative route. It depends on which view you're looking at. So let's look at sea turtles. And if we go to all of them, it does not have the total there. You would have to, it's not in this view. So it's something that we can certainly look at doing for an enhancement. You do see the totals based on the pending, planned, and complete. So if I just did completed, there's just one grant here. So let's find one that has multiple, and let's go to 2024. So it does just give you a list here, but the view at the top will give you the totals along with the remaining of your goal. I'm not sure if that is helpful, but we can certainly see how that experience could be enhanced by possibly adding a total at the bottom. Let's see. The grid along the bottom. Yes, I understand that you're asking for the total down here. And like I said, we can certainly look at adding the totals down here in the future. Completely understood. Okay, so I am going to switch gears and go back to the presentation now. Sure. And talk a little bit about tax prep. Okay, so your private client advisor had asked me to please share with you just a little bit of reminders and things to look out for with relation to the tax season. And number one, the very first tile on your dashboard, if you're entitled to see it, will be the tax tile. And in there, if you have an outstanding tax questionnaire, you'll see it right there at the top. And you simply link on it, and the link will be inside the questionnaire. We're actually looking to also have it on the top, so you can just go right there to complete that. If there are any documents or anything outstanding that the team needs to complete your taxes, that is where you will be alerted to do so. We have a guide for you that you can find in the Foundation Source Resource section on our homepage. And then we have a whole timeline of events. So you can see that obviously on a fiscal year that begins in January. And, you know, right now we are in the questionnaire and document gathering phase. And then for May 1st is the filing deadline. So that's when, you know, we are really in crunch time here working on getting your taxes. So please respond quickly if you are asked for or see that notification to add documents, signatures, or do the questionnaire. And then in June, you know, the current year estimate, excise, taxes due if applicable. Then you go to September for the deadline for any outstanding materials, for November 15th tax deadline, and then filing deadline after May extension. And then for December, and this is important and it may seem a long way out, and we do try and keep reminders going, but December 10th is the deadline to get grants out if you want them to count for 2024 and have them processed by December 31st. So a lot going on there. Now, let me see if Steve, are you on the line?
Hello.
How are you?
Doing well.
Awesome. So thanks for joining us today.
Happy to be here.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Steve? A lot of people on the line might not know who you are.
Yeah,
And
sure. So my name is Steve Aponte. I've been with Foundation Source for a little bit over 3 years. It's been exciting the last 3 years working here. I'm extremely passionate about building useful and impactful products. I've been in various product leadership roles over the last 15 to 17 years across many industries that include healthcare tech, mobile computing, telecom, smart home, to name a few, and obviously now philanthropy. But being in philanthropy the last 3.5 years has really opened my eyes to a new world. It's truly inspiring when I speak to our customers and listen to the many ways that they're impacting the world through their philanthropy. I mean, some of the stories are just out of this world amazing and truly inspiring. On the personal side, I am a husband and a proud girl dad. I've got 3 girls and also 2 boys who are dogs that I love to spend time with. And that's an Italian Greyhound named Rocky and a Beagle named Chase.
nice, very nice. All right, next question. All right, we're getting serious now. All right, Foundation Source empowers people and companies to create a better world through philanthropy. How does our technology fit into our mission?
Yeah, it's a really great question. So, one of the driving forces behind building Impactfully was this idea around making giving easier for our customers. We don't want our customers to have to think about the how when it comes to giving. So, making a grant, entering in an expense, researching a charity, all of these tasks are streamlined and easy to do in our software. Additionally, all of these tasks are tied closely to our world-class services teams and our processes. So a customer can be anywhere along the giving journey and they can get the help they need either through the software or through our teams and the services that we provide.
That's awesome. Yeah, our team does do a fantastic job. Okay, so this is almost like current events. So Steve, you recently wrote a awesome blog post, Technology Continues to Transform Giving, which is in our resource section in the blogs if you haven't seen it. And it was fabulous. You listed a bunch of recent enhancements that we did. Would you like to dive into any of those for the audience today?
Yeah, sure. I can name a handful or a few. So, as I just mentioned, we really strive to making things easy in the platform. So, there've been a lot of enhancements to the dashboard, making that more user-friendly, more efficient, giving you the data and the information that you need right in your face as you log in every day, but also the ability to just customize it to your heart's delight and make sure it's working for you as an individual, and that's customizable on a per user basis. Additionally, a really exciting feature and product enhancement that we made was building an applicant portal. And that allows prospective grantees to access their applications, to view their grant statuses, payments, save documents, collaborate on applications. So a lot of really unique features there. We're excited, to say that we have over 15,000 nonprofits already logging into the applicant portal in a less than, I don't know what it is, a 9-month period since we released that. So really exciting about that. We've also built enhanced some robust grants management capabilities around self-service. So if you're a longtime user, you know that there were some things that you had to rely on the PCA for. Well, we've now kind of revamped a lot of those processes and have given you the capability to build things yourself and really take onus of a lot of the things, streamlining the process even further and making it easier for you to get things done without relying on the team here at Foundation Source. We've made some improvements to the onboarding process for new clients, so they now have less information to complete and a more tech-forward approach, as they onboard as a new client, which is exciting. We've streamlined the tax prep functionality, improving efficiency and accuracy of returns. So Karina touched on that a little bit on the tax slide, where you can easily go through a questionnaire in a wizard-like format and upload all that documentation that's needed for us to help streamline that tax return. What you don't see is the behind the scenes stuff, which is really interesting and exciting as well. We've revamped our order reconciliation process. Also, a lot of the tax functionality has been revamped. And so, within a matter of minutes, we can produce tax returns, which is really unique to our system, and very powerful on the back end that often isn't talked about much, but it's exciting to share those updates with you on both the front end and the back end.
That's awesome. I appreciate that you dove into what our clients can't see that's happening on the back end, because we could easily share and show the GMS functionality or the Giving Hub, but to really get an understanding of the streamlined approach and operational items that we do, I think is really great. So thank you so much for sharing that, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
So question, so where do you see FoundationSource technology going in the future? Do you see us getting into AI or machine learning or anything like that?
Yeah, without a doubt. We've got some pretty cool stuff coming down the pipe right now, as Karina just shared recently. Digital payments is really exciting. We've got some mobile app enhancements coming down the pipe this year, which is, again, also exciting, being able to do everything right in the palm of your hand. But regarding AI, for sure, without a doubt, AI is no longer, as they say, in the future. It is here now. And the product experience team here at FoundationSource is constantly thinking of ways that we can leverage AI in the grant making experience as well as other parts in the platform. But for sure, more to come on that in the near future. I'm not going to overshare there, as we got some exciting ideas coming.
Yes, we definitely do, for sure. All right. So I'm going to leave this very open-ended. Steve, is there anything else you'd like to share?
Well, I'll just say that it's been an amazing 3+ years for me here at FoundationSource. We've built some really incredible technology with our partners on the engineering side and our CTO, Pascal Vincent. So kudos to that team in everything that we've built in the last few years. We are really excited for the future and where the Impactfully application is headed. It is truly a one-of-a-kind software that combines both foundation management as well as grants management. And I'll actually go out on a limb and say that there really is no other software like it in the industry. And that's something that I and the rest of the product development teams are super proud of. And we're just so excited to see where it's going to take us in the future.
I agree with that 100%. Definitely proud to be a part of it, and so glad to be a part of the extended team as well. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining. This is our Tech Talk for today. I hope that you all were able to take away some new features, functionality, something that you didn't know previously about making a grant or expense. And you heard it right from Steve here about, what's coming and, what the outlook is. And I think the outlook is absolutely fantastic. Please reach out if you have any questions. We're here. And for those of you who are a part of our think tank, we will be tapping you in the coming weeks. Otherwise, have a wonderful, fabulous day. And thank you so much for joining us. Bye-bye.
Take care.